Hey, Manga Rock, take my comics off your site. You don't have permission to have them there.
What's going on, guys? Zach from Uchu Shelf here. Today I want to talk to you about something that's going on in the manga community revolving a app called Manga Rock.
Hi all. As we announced previously, we have removed all reading features from the website. Now, when you visit the title's info page, you can no longer read scanlations. Instead, we have added a feature that links each title in Manga Rock to an official content provider's site, like Comixology or Viz.com, etc., where you can support the original authors and their works. And with that, the Manga Rock saga ended. Or did it? Let's find out. What's up, everybody? My name is Bryce, aka DubsNotSubs, and in today's video we are going to be talking about Manga Rock, the piracy app that closed down recently. Or did it? We're going to be getting more into that. Technically, yes, but there is something more that they've been working on. But let's get into that right now. I got my Manga Rock blue and white to remember the fallen comrade that it was. Rest in peace next to the billions you stole from the industry. Let's get right to the video. So, Manga Rock has technically closed down. That entire piracy site is officially fully shut off. No offline reading, no any catalog at all. Everything's completely off, and if you go onto their site, you'll get redirected to something called MR Comics, which is what they originally were going to work on, was their legal Crunchyroll path to manga, and it ended up getting switched to something called inkr, which is out right now in the beta that you can get for free. Link in the description if you want to check out the inkr app. This is a legal way to read manga for free, and we're going to be talking about the app itself, what it does right, what it does wrong, what the future could even hold for it. So we're going to get into that right now. So let's start off with what the app has right now and what it's doing. So right now they have decided to completely throw out Manga Rock. They want to rebuild the site or the app as better than before, is how they say it in their PR release that's on the actual app. When you download it, there's like this little disclaimer, kind of like PR release. You can click on the top and read about what inkr is going to do, what's more to come, and all this kind of stuff. So basically, they're going to redo the entire app itself and start over, rebuild it. But right now for the beta, all you have is the home, which basically has their new releases up there, which isn't really new releases. It's just basically every title and chapter gets updated, hopefully, as like, obviously this is the beta, so they're going to add more features and stuff as it goes on. So this is like a really big complaint, because it's still getting made and all this kind of other stuff. But hopefully they add it to where there's actually like updated chapters and then new titles, because they get like jumbled up together. And then the only other thing they have besides the homepage, which has, like I said, which is the new updated chapters and the new stuff, and then kind of like just quick categories. You can't really view more on that, and then an all series page. So they kind of right now they have things like Tokyo Pop, which is probably their biggest licensor so far, and the only thing that you guys would probably even know about. They have like Fan, they have a couple Chinese webtoons and Chinese comics, they have Korean webtoons out right now. And there's not really a whole lot of people on the site that are really wanting to come in and wanting to talk and deal with Manga Rock. Obviously, with their history, legal publishers aren't going to really want to deal with them, but they acknowledge that, and at least they're honest. At least they admit that they know people don't want to work with them, which is completely understandable. I would be very hesitant to work with them after their track history and being the biggest and best piracy site out there. I mean, that app was top notch. You gotta, regardless of what you think of piracy, regardless of what you think about it, that site, that app, that was tier 1. That was very, very well made. It was a very, very good app. Like, objectively, you have to give it credit where it is. It did a great job. But anyway, inkr itself, like I said, doesn't have a lot of titles, so there's not really too many good things. There are 2 titles I will talk about in this that are actually pretty good and I really enjoy. And obviously, I hope there's more to come. I hope there's a lot of better titles coming out. I hope more publishers will work in. If Manga Rock or inkr Comics now does do right by them and does encourage people to end up coming with them and more licenses to work with them, because I think they have to prove themselves right now. They're in this kind of stage where nobody trusts them, and they're trying to gain trust back. And once you've lost trust in somebody, you guys know, if like you've lost trust in anybody or someone's lost trust in you, how hard it is to get it back. So basically, they're in this like transition phase of trying to get back with the manga, like all the manga companies and all this kind of stuff, and regain their trust and right what they did wrong. And I mean, I hope they do. I really hope they do, because a Netflix kind of style manga like this And this doesn't even seem to have a subscription service that's going to be needed. It's probably going to be all like ad-based, which is fine if they put ads on the site. Because, I mean, somebody's got to pay for the people creating this manga. I'm fine with ads being on there. Actually, things like Setsua, the Manga Plus app, does the kind of same thing where it's free and they just have ads throughout it. And I really wouldn't mind that. Like, when you're reading a chapter, maybe there's like an ad in the mid and then an ad at the end. I mean, that's 2 ads, and that really doesn't hurt your experience because all you have to do is go swipe and then swipe. Because it'll just be like a little like advertising banner, and then you just swipe past it. It's not really it's a slight inconvenience, but something that's worth like dealing with if you're gonna get your manga for free. And I think that would be honestly worth it 100%. But I don't know how they're going to work on the advertising and stuff like that. But right now, let's talk about some features that I wish will come in the future. Obviously, I hope that they don't have anything like where you can favorite your manga, you can follow manga that you've been reading and really want to get new notifications when it comes out. It also doesn't have like a set schedule of when the manga is coming out. Again, this is a beta, so they probably don't have like a set time each manga is coming out. I'm not exactly sure because they haven't said anything about that. But hopefully that at some point when they get it up and running enough, they will set a schedule for all the manga that's coming out, set it up to where you can follow your manga, favorite your manga, and get notifications about new chapters coming out like most other apps do. So pretty much I think that's most of the complaints I have about the actual, because it still runs very nice, it's very smooth. The read is very much like Manga Rock. You have vertical scrolling and then you have horizontal regular manga scrolling. It's very convenient. It's nothing that really will hinder your reading. It's very well done. It's really like a clone of Manga Rock, to be honest, for their reader, and that's fine because their reader was great when it started. But let's talk about the 2 series that on here that are actually really good, because let's be honest, everything else on there was pretty much shit. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad. Like, you have like all those shitty Disney titles up there. You just have like really bad Tokyo Pop titles, throwaway Chinese comics that weren't really that good and didn't really interest me. Obviously, this is all my personal opinion, but let's get into the 2 titles that did interest me. First up is something called Bloodivores, and this is set in a futuristic Tokyo. Not really futuristic, but it's like set in like near future, where basically everyone was having like this insomniac problem from this pill, and so what happened was, this is what I'm getting from the video. It was a little bit, I'm not exactly sure how they tried to explain it. Was a little bit weird of how Bloodivores came to existence. But anyway, basically there was like this pill that everyone had insomnia. For some reason, this pill fixed it. But for some reason, some people ended up becoming something known as a Bloodivore, which is basically a vampire. They're people who feed off of human blood. They need that to live, so they're vampires, basically just called Bloodivores, probably for copyright reasons. But in the future, there was kind of a war between Bloodivores and humans. Humans won, and what happens was, instead of killing off all the Bloodivores, they end up kind of putting this collar around their neck, which basically tracks their movements and allows humans from like an app on their phone to mark them for like danger, and it'll set off an alarm. So there's a police force for the Bloodivores that will track them down and take them. So we're set in kind of this world where Bloodivores are allowed to be free and they're allowed to do whatever they want, but they have to wear these collars around their neck just in case they try to do something evil and all this kind of stuff. But so what happens when it opens up after you get this explanation, you end up with a bank heist with 3 Bloodivores who are robbing a bank, and something happens where they end up all getting arrested, and you find out that somebody that wasn't them 3, or could have been one of those 3, somebody in this bank ended up eating everybody inside you, like sucking all the blood out of them. So something mysterious like that happens. None of the 3 people who are all involved in the heist know who did it, and none of them know who the culprit is. Actually, there's 4 people. Sorry, there's 4 people. There's 3 guys and 1 girl who all did it. But anyway, none of them know who did it, so they're trying to figure this out. But they also end up, something mysterious happens where all the 4 people end up on this mysterious island prison. Like, doesn't really get explained yet. I'm only 16 chapters in, and that's all that's out right now, so there's a lot more that needs to get explained. But they end up on this island that they find out real quickly that it's basically they are put there. They can do whatever they want wherever they go, but all they have to do is survive. And it's not really explained why they're here, what the prison is even set for, but only Bloodivores are there, and basically now they are set to try to survive. Well, they're also all these people in this 4 heist who are involved in the heist are trying to figure out who killed the people in the bank heist and try to like out them, because that's the reason they ended up there, was because of that mass murder of that bank heist, even though none of them think that they did it, and they also expect each other. And so it's really cool about this like survival and kind of this mystery aspect of trying to find out who did it. Although I already know who did it, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure I know who. Like, it hasn't been 100% shown or told, but your boy's smart. He knows what he's talking about. But anyway, the last title on here that I want to talk about that is top tier, the best title on inkr, in my opinion, is something called Mode 2. Now, this series is a webtoon by Fantan Comics, published by them. And basically, this is about a kid who's a loner in just modern Tokyo. I don't think it's any futuristic setting or anything. I don't know why, like, I always feel the need to talk about the settings, but I always think that's important for setting up what's going around. But anyway, he's kind of a loner. He doesn't have any friends. His sister is kind of like off-putting to him and like seems very like she doesn't like him or anything like that. So one time his sister yells at her and says that she wants to go home alone, and so he ends up letting her, because he feels like he's a burden to everyone. He's very depressed and like this kind of thing. And at night he gets this mysterious text about some phone app. He disregards it and nothing really happens, and then his sister ends up not coming home. It ends up being very late. His mom comes home, and his mom ends up yelling at him for not taking her home because it was very unsafe, because there's been rumors that there had been a murderer out on the streets late at night and going after people on their phone. So what happens is he ends up leaving the house looking for her and going down an alley that she's known to go down, that he knows she goes down all the time. And at the end of this alley, she's found with her phone on, almost bloodied and almost dead on the ground. And luckily she does not die, but she's in critical condition, and I believe also in a coma in the hospital. He ends up hating himself and resenting himself no matter what. He ends up getting another text because he ends up looking on his sister's phone and noticing that she has the same app that he got a text from, and the text that he got reads something like, if you want, there's like miracles on this app, or like there's some sort of power on this app, and through desperation and because he wasn't really thinking in his right mind, he ends up downloading the app. And so what happens is he wants to cancel school for the next day, so he calls the class the class rep and ends up calling her. It seems normal, right? He calls her, says, okay, I don't want to go to school much, she's fine. So she hangs up, but for some reason she's still talking on the phone. And he begins to realize that her true inner thoughts are playing through the phone once she hangs up. So he's like, is this really real? Is this what's going on? And then he calls somebody else, one of his friends that he lent something to, and finds out the exact same thing, that he learns up his inner thoughts and something like that. So he starts to begin that it's like, oh, this app has some like weird power to it like that. And he ends up seeing that on his sister's phone there is a number that the murderer used to call her. And then he calls the number and ends up hearing in it his or her inner thoughts, and knowing that she called on the phone because that's what he likes to hear, like girls scream on the phone. It's like some creepy psychopath shit, I'm not gonna lie. And this how it's set up. That's the first chapter. It's crazy. So basically, he uses the power of this phone, and he's gonna try to find and avenge his sister and all these other people who are getting murdered. Basically, it's just for his sister. He just cares about his sister because he finds out that his sister actually cared for him at the end of the chapter, and like when he looks through like her diary or something like that, and he finds out he cares, so he determines to avenge her and catch the culprit who did this to her. And as this goes on, you find out that more people actually have this app. I'm not gonna say who or what kind of things that involves, but you end up having allies and enemies with this app and trying to catch this murderer and avenge his sister. I really love this kind of like mystery thriller. It's a little bit on the darker side. It's so good. The characters are really cool. I like where this is going. The side characters still really fun to like watch. Even like the new character got involved recently because I'm reading every single time it comes out. Again, I don't really know what day it comes out, but anyway, she's so it's so cool. It's so good. It immediately hooked me in. I love it so much. It's a great webtoon. Decent. It's good art. I was gonna say decent art, but it's good. Like, webtoon art usually isn't my favorite, but this one definitely stays very well. It's very well done. It's super good. But yeah, anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I love you all. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys want to see more of, what else you want to see. Like if you enjoy this video, and sub if you feel like I deserve it. But anyway guys, I will see you in another video.